and then he gets shipped off, and then now vanishes.
Just disappeared. It's like
What I'm one of the guys I'm about to ask, wow, ironically, 2 into the spectrum that they consider bust. One, could Johnny Manziel be considered a bust? So high, even as a which we know the Browns story on.
Or what was the other Browns quarterback? He was the first for them that did some big things that Tim Cowley.
Like their last could Manziel, but the other one I was wow.
See, I wouldn't put Manziel for my own. I never thought he would be. So,
and you're probably exactly right. But would RG3 can be considered?
He wasn't like he didn't flop on the field because he couldn't get it done. Because he did actually very similar to Jaden Daniels, and when they went to Washington, they were getting moves, getting better, and they played him injured, and then he sustained an injury that he was never really able to come back from. So I don't know if you call that a bust, bad luck. I don't know, but I mean, I think you could also just make this list with just Browns quarterbacks, which is well, so I guess that's why they can like double down on it. I don't know. So yeah, McNown, Russell, Leaf, and still
the other one that I was thinking about, he had a 6. But again, what anyway? Where do you put Tebow?
See, he's in the mid tier.
Yeah.
Like, you never expect much. But he also was like, he talks about like winner. He was a winner, and maybe should have gone over that or been put in a different situation. But he never. I don't put him on that list just because he did what I expected him to do.
Liner?
Yes, I was like.
Liner. I'm looking at a Bleacher report of top 50 This was one that, and here's the deal, in a lot of these, that was back when you were guaranteed and Jamarcus Russell, a ton of money just being number one.
Yeah.
Like 30, 40, 25, 30, 40, 50 million, and you could be exactly what Jamarcus, and it didn't matter. Sam Bradford is the last $50 million quarterback. Everybody else, they're expensive, but they're not that expensive. And so I think you get a guy like him, unfortunately, Derek Carr's brother David was the number 1 draft pick for the Houston Texans when they came out as the expansion team, and I'm pretty sure it's back today. So he's really the wrong team at the wrong time. And I would consider him a bust because if I'm going to be the equivalent. If you can't swim, Misty, we know that, and we throw you in the deep end and things don't work out, it's not your fault that we put you in the spot that you had no chance to succeed in.
Well, and how much time would y'all give? Do you give it like 2 seasons?
Well, that's it.
Because that's the other thing. Like,
there's a lot right now that like the jury is still out type situations.
Bryce, he's one.
Anthony Richardson.
Who are you saying?
Bryce Young.
Yeah, Bryce Young. I was saying, like, how much time do you give them until you're just like totally?
But you're seeing them giving up early on it because Kenny Pickett has already been on, like, he's on his
he was a first round draft pick like never got.
Keith Pickett's been moved on. Will Levis has already been.
For y'all, like, is it 2-3 years? What does that look like?
Well, I
Or do you
think
give them longer?
I think you're seeing urgency because right, wrong, or indifferent, you see the success of C.J. Stroud, you see the success of Jaden Daniels, and you're like, well, if it can happen now, let's go ahead and do it because it doesn't cost you as much as it did if I just spent $50 million on you. I've got to either figure this out maybe a little bit longer or when I. But like when you move on from a player now and let them go play somewhere else, we're seeing it with Justin Fields.
Justin Fields bounced around.
Yeah.
He was a Bears quarterback. He was a Steelers quarterback, and now he's the Jets quarterback. So, to answer the question of how long, I say anywhere under that 4-year rookie deal where you avoid the 5th year option.
Well, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence. He's one of those that's like he's shown times that he looked good and then times that he hasn't.
Yeah,
so
like
I wouldn't say he's a bust because he's performed at the NFL level, but maybe not sustainable to be like the man that he looked like he would be at the time. But I think you also have another aspect that you can look at with this, and it's what I have my total opinion. Quarterbacks have become the market inefficiency. I don't think he spends as much on them as teams are because of the people, and the poster boy that has been Brock Purdy. But now Brock Purdy's getting his $50 million contract. I think now you put Brock Purdy on bus. Yes, he was Cinderella, but now he's the princess. You know,
He's not the same because he's actually played in the Super Bowl.
No, he has had success, but if he doesn't have success going forward, now he's a bust.
But what he reminds me of is a quarterback that didn't get 50+ million. He got 40 million, and that was Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had a baseball, had a bit of good year. Yeah, I think that might have been the year Brian Daboll got Coach of the Year, and they paid him $40 million. Now, Daniel Jones is one of those. Like, playing for the Colts as a backup.
So at what point do you go, okay, it's not the team, it's the quarterback?
But I think what he's done, though, because of the blip of success that he has, and we've seen this with other quarterbacks, what he's done is bought himself time in the league.
Right.
Because he may not be a starter anymore. He rises like Sam Darnold.
And no one's bringing you in to start.
No, you have to have somebody get hurt, somebody poop the bed to where you get a chance and you have what Sam Darnold did, because now you're going to see the same thing. Will Sam Darnold be able to go do in Seattle what Geno Smith was able to do to have some success there? Because if not, now Sam Darnold's slipper starts to become breakable in my class anymore. But I agree with Josh. Right now, as soon as you became a $53 million quarterback, just like Dak Prescott, even though the pressure was there, has become a $60 million quarterback, now the expectation is totally different.
Right, and see,
and how long do you stay with Dak would be another.
Well, you brought up Sam Darnold. See, Sam Darnold on the list but he landed another place and kind of. But as Hodge mentioned, it's like, did he catch lightning in a bottle and have one, or can he replicate? I thought all year last year, and we talked about it a lot, that I didn't think he was that good, and that the Vikings making it and winning and making something which they turned out it didn't. It lasted longer than I thought they were going to.
Yeah,
But, so we'll see how that works. I agree, and like I said, I have told every GM I would stop for 3 seconds. Do not touch the first round. Now, for a few years, we keep going. That's for them to keep.
And we can roll it into. Back, my deal is going to ask you, what is the hardest part about Mount Rushmore?
I feel like we could also talk about quarterbacks, like the Mount Rushmore of one-hit wonder quarterbacks. Like,
Well, Jeff
just like,
Hostetler won the Super Bowl as a
I mean, like
backup.
one and done. You know, they totally sucked after that. But
Well, Brock Purdy got
Yeah. Like,
and from Darnold's. But I mean, I feel like that's a whole nother question and topic. If you just look at the one.
He mid-round draft pick, put on a really good team.
Right. Which this is such good conversation for when we're on air, but yeah, 100.
And then if you had to take that rest of
Romo might have taken that.
I still
Oh my goodness.
You have to work till 5 today?
Yeah, we don't flex on holiday weeks, so since we were closed Monday for Memorial Day, we don't, we could take PTO, but I'm like, what's the point? Like, I'll pack after work, save it. So.
Yeah. Jets, Panthers,
I think Sam Darnold with the Vikings proves my point, but worry about drafting the quarterback real high. You can go
But
find
they
somebody.
did though. They drafted Jim McCarthy.
I know, but no one follows my advice.
And they should,
They
Josh.
should.
They should.
I should be getting phone
Results,
calls for GM jobs
He
any
had
moment
receipts
now.
that day, Joshua did.
Right. I think I'm absolutely right,
It was
but
a
no NFL team will follow that protocol, but I think I'm right.
Yeah.
I thought the 49ers were following the plan, and then they
Well,
blew
the fact
it.
is Josh is having some issues and,
Slam the desk.
we're working
Sorry,
on it. Have y'all ever seen an Office episode where Andy has trying to get that over that, but again, when it's talking more of quarterback bust, and we do basic. And my question was, what's hard about Mount Rushmore is there's only 4. Because a number of that, like basketball, are there to question. But figuring out the other two, you have to just talk. We're going to agree.
I mean, I actually had Johnny Manziel on my list just because I him, and so Josh and I differ on that opinion, not to mention anyways, but for me, and just the way that he just did not care, wasn't watching film, I mean, just his own stuff
Well,
going on.
but see, that goes all par for the course for me, and I watched him play a lot of football at A&M, and the only reason Johnny Manziel was good was because he had the best college receiver I may have ever seen play football.
And that's true.
Mike
And
Evans,
that's true
who
too.
is
Yeah.
underappreciated, I think, in the NFL, but just did what is 10 years in a row of catching 1,000 yards or more.
I think it's sneaky.
I think he is massively underrated. And like I said, I'm no A&M guy, but I watched them play a lot of football because it was exciting. And Johnny Manziel was good because he just could get away from people and use his quickness, and then throw it in Mike Evans' general direction, and he caught it. And so I never thought Manziel was good. I thought Mike Evans was so good he made Manziel have it.
And so we were talking about this one Halloween real big like draft, like a fantasy football draft, in that you don't pick a quarterback until much later because you're picking that's available at that time. The running backs, the receivers, you start to see that you, because the other question that Misty brought up was, how soon do you give up on somebody that you drafted early and it's not working? You're starting to see this happening a lot more frequent in the NFL with guys that get drafted, give up on, and they move on. Mac Jones is another one. Mac Jones was drafted by the Patriots. Now he's with the Jaguars. We've mentioned Kenny Pickett and a lot of other ones. And so I think you're going to start seeing that. And when we see, because this year you had Cam Ward. He was the only quarterback drafted in the first round. And waiting on Shagur. Shagur didn't get drafted.
Just
no, you have to talk about him because it's all about
I think he's a decent human being, and I'm afraid I'm going to continue to be right.
Well, and you brought the receipts. I mean, we can't. You have a great point because you have the receipts to back it up. And I don't know that we just haven't ever thought about it or talked about it. But that day when you brought out the receipts, we were like,
but I think a lot of it is NFL franchises. And again, the irony is the position that started to make a comeback not only on the field but being paid is running back.
Yes.
Because Saquon and Derrick Henry, a decent chunk of cash that is right, wrong, and different. If Ezekiel Elliott might have taken care, like we look at Luka, he didn't get better. He would have been getting paid. One time he was on the left, get away, but now and Le'Veon Bell, and now Saquon and all these others, and James Cook is waiting for it.
Well, but here's the thing with
away from quarterback is being diminished.
And that's my thing with running back is for a while people were like, "There's no way I'm drafting running back in the first round." The Cowboys drafted Zeke in the first round. Everybody blew them. But I have zero problem with that. If you get a running back in the first round that is Zeke years that he's there, that's great.
Yeah.
The only problem I had with the Cowboys is they re-signed him, paid him a lot of money, and that's when the wheels came off. So I have no problem with the running back in the first round. If I was in charge, we would never draft a quarterback in the first round. And I do think that Dak, Brock Purdy, or you even can go back and go say Tom Brady. There are lots of the better quarterbacks, the top round draft picks, and I think that that is because you can have a better team around them when you draft other positions in the first round.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Because Dak Prescott was drafted in the, what was it, the 4th round. He was on the Cowboys team to be the best Cowboys team since the 90s. I can Uncle Rico that all day. If Romo would have been there, we would have won it all. But that high draft pick, first round, that is not something that should even some first round test at all. Later round.
Because again, and we saw with Caleb Williams, Heisman Trophy winner, decent people around him, and he wasn't enough.
No, well, and even Caleb Williams, I was like, dude, like he had a good year, and then his last year in college, he wasn't even that good, and you still drafted him, like.
And you could have had James Davis.
Yeah, well, right.
And so in all that, one of the things I put in the rundown, and again, great question about Misty, is I was trying to figure out these busts, is I wrote in the rundown, will the Cleveland Browns be the Caitlin Clark preseason ticket? And the reason I bring that up is when you go to watch most preseason football, the guys that are playing are not your starters. You're not watching Dak a whole lot. You're not watching Mahomes a whole lot. Right now, if you're a Broncos fan or a Texans fan around here, you're not going to watch a lot of CJ Stroud. You're watching guys trying to make the team. The quarterbacks, or if you take away, and Kenny Pickett, one of the guys we've been talking about a lot, Joe Flacco, who now is in the news because he got asked the question, are you a mentor or are you trying to earn a spot? And he said, well, if I say I'm a mentor, if I say I'm not a mentor, I look like I'm a jerk. If I say I'm here to do the other, basically, he's like, the question you're giving me is not
That
fair.
is an unanswerable question.
It's not a fair question.
I'm not here if I don't want to play.
Right.
If
I wanted to be a mentor, I would go get paid to be a coach.
Yeah, like exactly.
And so then you got Pickett, Flacco, and then you throw in the 2 rookies that they drafted in Dylan Gabriel and Shadur. And the reason I bring up the Caitlin Clark ticket, and obviously they're not, preseason is you can watch that game because it's going to be a real reality TV show of Ken Shadur Sanders, he may not playing with the ones against the ones. Is it going to be a thing to see for those that are going to be on both sides of that fence? Well, I hope he succeeds. I know he's going to fail, and then everybody watching in between.
Right, and the interesting thing with how that has shaken out for the Browns with drafting 2 quarterbacks is, and I don't know what Deshaun Watson's status is at all, but
getting paid and not playing.
Well, he's getting paid and not playing, but 2 of those guys can't make the team.
Right, you can carry 3.
Yes, most don't carry 3, at least on a week-to-week basis. But they can. And so, which 2 are going to just get completely let go?
What's your prediction for that?
The jury is completely out because
you
it's like
literally are like, you have no clue.
I have no clue because we haven't really ever Kenny Pickett's never really had a chance. Flacco is like he's proven they're an older, and then you got 2 rookies that are coming in there that Sanders obviously has all the fanfare that you could even imagine, and then I thought Dylan Gabriel was a good pick. Like not going super high, and somebody that's like
you're going to see one of those 2 rookies, either Dylan or Shadur, become very tradable. If they end up
if they play well in the preseason at all, you can trade them for something.
Trade them and get the point for them. Because again, and the depth chart is semi-updated because when you look at the depth chart on ESPN.com, you have Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, who was added, Joe Flacco, who was added, or who was drafted. They don't, as Josh mentioned, there is not a 5th slot over here on this track. On the track. The talk him and Dylan Gable are going to be the top, and then you've got Old Man River Pickett that's still trying to be in
round draft pick.
It's trying to be Sam Darnold. If you do well, somebody will pay you because there's not 32 good quarterbacks in the league. There's not 32 really good starting quarterbacks in the league.
Right.
Because if there were, there wouldn't be as much rotation. But there's not. And so Kenny Pickett and all these guys are trying to hopefully have a one-hit moment.
Back up that Tom Brady misses a game or someone comes in and looks.
Matt Cass is late because of the eyesight maybe one hit. We'll be back right.
Are you having another good question? I actually thought about this question last night when I was getting my nails done. I was like, I wonder what I'm going to ask tomorrow. And I don't know, it just came to my mind. Was like, we're going to talk about quarterbacks tomorrow.
Well, OTA is getting started. It's a good.
Yeah, and then I texted Clay. I was like, do you think this is a good question? He was like, yes,
Well,
that is.
I'm glad your nails inspired.
But literally, yeah, I was sitting there like 6:30 last night, like, because sometimes I have some in the arsenal that I was like, I want to do something different. And so, because, I won't be here next week, so I had to leave y'all with a good debate one. Which summer is always kind of hard, just because we all have different things going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like this show has no, which is great.
Good with no football.
Okay, so do we know, like, are we throwing the first pitch? Like, do we need to know something? But what are,
Well, we got a little time. But we
okay,
need
well,
A whole lot of time.
Huh?
2 weeks.
I mean, yeah, that's. I just.
Well, I mean,
yeah, like,
I
what is
think straight off, I'm going to touch base with John. I may actually marketing person.
like, that would be cool if we can announce, hey.
I really.
Can we couple people from the.
we. Speaking of one-hit wonders, is like amazing. I almost feel like a one-hit wonder.
You can't.
Because I know, I think honestly that was great because it was a one-hit wonder. When we had old people.
I wonder if one of the vendors, if they did their snow cone or something that we missed.
Oh yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah.
I mean.
Because you can't take Rick Evans and
Just carry it on. Very loud.
Oh.
I mean, legal.
of course, that is what, like on an airplane.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's illegal. No.
It's right.
Thanks. Yeah, I think another funny what is the Mount Rushmore that's propelled them? Because I think of Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids.
Oh,
but after she had that role, she was everywhere. And I know people say she was like in Gilmore Girls.
well, like, what is her name? Rebel Wilson?
Was that the one that was
No, Fat Amy.
Yes.
Yes.
And then also I think Zach Galifianakis
Yep.
in Hangover, that's how he got known.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Fat Amy.
Show recap, takeaways, and then
Fat Amy.
Fat Amy is not so Fat Amy-ish anymore.
anybody is that.
Isn't that funny though? Like when people do lose a lot of weight, it like changes them.
Do you not remember Jonah Hill?
I feel like they're not as funny.
Jonah Hill was in Superbad.
It's funny because it's bad.
But like
Hey,
seriously.
well, Leslie Chow, Dr. hangover.
Like when they're not.
He wasn't
sad.
fat, he was skinny. All right, there we go.
But, you know,
Well, welcome back to the Hodge Facts, sports life and everything in between as we get ready to send you into the weekend. June will be here next time we are here. Crazy how this, I mean, think about it, the year is almost over. We're almost halfway through 2025. So as we get ready to send you to the weekend, again, Misty was talking about just a lot of fun show today, all the stuff we got to cover. Misty will go through ladies first. Takeaway, recap.
takeaway, I think that I'm gonna give Kim Abel and Cody a shout out. I'm just so impressed with the fact that this is year 5 and all of the money that they have raised on something that, like, it's like that, who would have thunk it, you know, type of situation, like, that this would have been such a smashing success. There are a lot of fundraisers, $1 million.
Well, and there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of new options for fundraising.
Right, I just think it's great. The idea, I love the success of it. I love how it just keeps growing and that it's family friendly. I don't know. I think today my takeaway is Camp Abel and the Buffalo Run.
I'm with you on that, and just the fact that his commitment, their commitment to, like, even though it's raking in dough, they're not spending any more money on it. I think that there's a lot of times people go, oh, we get this, but he's proving that that doesn't have to be the case. You don't have to have a headliner band to get to take part. You know, it's just so that's impressive. And I'm very impressed that Andrew Mills done, because that was like, and then come up with the football. So,
you know, thinking about topics in a day or two, and so that's the run of the play. It's coming up, and so I do want to talk about because I do want to run down with a little difference in Johnson.
It is hard, and Misty's bag is hard. We've been doing this segment for many years, and you would think, oh, it's easy to come up with a question, but we have covered so many topics that there are weeks where I'm scratching my head.
And I'm very thankful for your bag. I'm thankful for baseball and Bison, but it's the same thing. When you start thinking about coming up with 6, 7 segments
Yeah, it's tough.
that are engaging, and so.
I mean, you can always talk about golf, and everyone
We
can take a nap.
Well, we did, and again, the Colonial, Ben Griffin
Yes,
won.
I've never heard of it. Like, who's been good?
Plays golf. I mean, one. And I never thought I would put Sugar Sanders and Caitlin Clark in the same sentence. That will be interesting there. And so again, stars are done. Stanley Cup finals are set. This weekend, will the Knicks find a way to force Game 7, or will we have Game 1? Of course, Game 1 of the NBA Finals will be next Thursday. Hey, we appreciate you again. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, check out Marty McGee. We'll see Cody Cox talking about Camp Abel, bringing awareness to the national news. Don't forget to download, subscribe, rate, review. Buffalo Run big next week, and we'll be back with more Hodge Facts, sports, life, and everything in between. And June will be here. Have a great weekend.
All right, see you later.